Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and here's the headlines. Top leaders of Vietnam and Ireland hold talks in Dublin. Ministry of National Defence hosts monthly briefing. Special panorama to celebrate 70th anniversary of HANOI'S Liberation Day in preparation. General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee and President Tô Lâm held talks with President of Ireland, Michael Higgins, in Dublin on October the 2nd as part of his state visit to the European country from October the 1st to the 3rd. Welcoming General Secretary and President Tô Lâm first visit to Ireland, President Higgins affirmed that his country respects Vietnam's position and role in Asia-Pacific, while showing his impression with the Southeast Asian nations' achievements in socio-economic development, international integration, and realization of the Sustainable Development Goals in recent years. He also expressed his sympathy with Vietnam over the heavy consequences of Typhoon Yagi. Thanking President Michael Higgins for such warm and respectful reception, the Vietnamese top leader stated that Vietnam attaches importance to developing its friendship and multifaceted cooperation with Ireland. He expressed his wish that Ireland will continue to providing development assistance for Vietnam in the prioritized fields such as green growth, response to climate change, environmental protection, information technology, digital transformation, and sustainable development. To enhance mutual political trust and understanding, the two leaders agreed to step up the exchange of delegations at all levels, especially high-level ones, and actively carry out existing cooperation mechanisms. General Secretary and President Tô Lâm was pleased to announce that the Vietnamese government has decided and is implementing procedures for the opening of the Vietnamese embassy in Ireland. Regarding economic, trade and investment cooperation, the two leaders affirmed that this is an important pillar of the bilateral cooperation and is developing positively when the two-way trade turnover is expected to reach $3.5 billion in 2024. The Irish president emphasized that Vietnam is Ireland's leading trade partner and that there is still ample room for cooperation between the two countries, acknowledged Vietnam's proposal to accelerate the ratification of the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement to expand cooperation and investment opportunities between the Vietnamese and Irish business communities, and wished that Vietnam will facilitate Ireland's export of high-quality agricultural products and food products. The two sides welcomed the establishment of a strategic partnership on higher education, as well as the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Vietnam National University, Hanoi, and leading universities of Ireland. Within the framework of the talks, the two sides discussed regional security issues of shared concern, such as the situation in Ukraine and the Middle East. They concurred to strengthen cooperation at multilateral forums such as ASEAN, EU, and the United Nations, and in various areas such as response to global challenges, climate change, food security, and ensuring supply chains. The two sides supported ASEAN's stance on the East Sea or South China Sea internationally issue in terms of ensuring peace, stability, security, cooperation and development in the region and settling disputes by peaceful means on the basis of respecting international law, especially the 1982 UNCLOS. On the morning of October the 3rd, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, chaired the monthly briefing of the Ministry of National Defense in September. In September, the Home Military strictly maintained combat readiness, firmly managed the national airspace, sea and islands, border, inland and cyberspace, always stayed vigilant in all situations to firmly protect national sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Ministry of National Defense strictly directed the organization of exercises with quality and absolute safety, including the Hanoi Capital Defensive Area exercise, strictly maintained round-the-clock duty at all levels, actively mobilized soldiers, militia and self-defense forces and vehicles to participate in natural disasters response and search and rescue. I'd like to thank officers and soldiers of the Home Military for great efforts in training, maintaining discipline, and especially actively overcoming the consequences of Typhoon Yagi, a particularly strong storm in recent decades that hit the north. The military has carried out tasks under the direction of the government and the Ministry of National Defense. I express my condolences to the families of the soldiers who died or were injured during the typhoon, and thank you for completing your task with the highest quality. In September, the Home Military also well carried out political and ideological education, promptly recognized and commended officers and soldiers for excellent task performance, refuted wrongful and hostile views, protected the party's ideological foundation in the military, organized the determined to win emulation congresses at all levels under the Ministry of National Defense for the 2019-2024 period, as well as many practical and meaningful activities to celebrate major events. International integration and defense diplomacy were actively implemented. In October, Minister Phan Van Giang requested the Home Military to focus on strictly maintaining combat readiness, especially in strategic and key areas, carefully preparing documents for the amendment and supplementation of the law on Vietnam People's Army officers, the law on the People's Air Defense, as well as related documents to serve the 8th session of the 15th National Assembly. Reviewing 5 years of implementing Decree No. 21 of the government on defensive areas, the Home Military continues to implement solutions to improve the quality of training and education, actively carries out political and ideological education and leadership, ensures good logistics, technical, financial, and defense foreign affairs activities, notably the successful organization of the second Vietnam-Laos Border Defense Friendship Exchange. Right at the monthly briefing of the Ministry of National Defense via live conferencing, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, directed in the search and rescue work supporting people in the area of Phong Châu Bridge in Phu Thọ Province and Nu Village in Lao Cai Province. General Giang requested the engineering force to deploy military ferries in replacement of the pontoon bridge due to the rising river water level, while the Naval Commando Force was asked to search for the remaining victims urgently. Accordingly, the local authorities are coordinating with Military Region 2 and Engineering Force to actively conduct search and rescue work in Phong Châu Bridge area and operate the pontoon bridge, while the Naval Commando Force is working to find the remaining victims. Currently, the operation of the pontoon bridge has been temporarily suspended due to many difficulties, especially since the river water level is rising with strong flow and riverbank erosion occurs in many locations. General Giang directed the Naval Commando Force to promote their training experience and combat readiness to apply to search and rescue missions, while the Engineering Corps considers plans to deploy military ferries for people to travel in the Phong Châu Bridge area. Connecting with people in Nu Village, Lao Cai Province, General Phan Van Giang extended condolences to families affected by natural disasters and urged the military to collaborate with local authorities in recovery efforts. He directed Corps 12 to safely accelerate construction of the resettlement area for the residents. Army Corps 12 is currently leveling ground and building 40 stilt houses, a school and a community center on an area of 13 hectares. After days of flooding, clear weather has allowed construction progress with a goal to hand over houses by December the 31st, as directed by the Prime Minister. Minister Phan Van Giang stressed careful terrain assessment and using technology to detect hazards and ensure safety for residents and rescue teams. Coming up next, special panorama to celebrate 70th anniversary of HANOI'S Liberation Day in preparation. Ho Chi Minh City welcomes over 4 million international visitors in 9 months. Towards the 70th anniversary of Hanoi Liberation Day, a giant panorama painting is being completed by 60 artists. It is expected to be a meaningful project towards the important holiday of the capital city. These days, at the corner of Chukbak Street, Hanoi, 60 artists symbolizing the 60 heroic days and nights of resistance against the French colonialists are rushing to complete the 12 meters in length and 3.5 meters in height painting to display it on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of Hanoi's Liberation Day. The painting is divided into three parts. The first part, Resistance, vividly depicts Chukbak in 1946, where the Yên Phu power plant was set on explosion to signal the beginning of the nationwide resistance war. The second part, Reconstruction, portrays Hanoi in the post-war era, highlighting the works on redevelopment and reconstruction after peace restoration. And the third part, Transformation, brings viewers to the present day with the city's rapid socio-economic developments. Three different parts representing the three development stages of Hanoi, along with many unforgettable milestones. The painting is part of the Langang Heritage Project launched by the Chukbak World People's Committee to commemorate the 70th anniversary of Hanoi's Liberation Day. The painting shows the indomitable will of the Hanoi soldiers and people in the resistance war against the French colonialists, as well as their resilience and determination in rebuilding the nation after peace was restored. We hope this will attract tourists and help them understand more about the glorious history of Hanoi. The panorama will be displayed from October the 5th to the 10th on Ngũ Xã Street. It'll be a chance for Hanoi lovers to learn more about the city's culture and history in a new way. In September, international visitors to Ho Chi Minh City were estimated at 570,203, bringing the total number of international visitors to the city in 9 months to over 4 million, up 12.4% of the same period. Meanwhile, the number of domestic visitors to Ho Chi Minh City in September 2024 was only about 3.9 million, down 21.7% over the same period in 2023. According to the city's Department of Tourism, in recent times, the local tourism has continued to have new activities such as announcing Phase 2 of the Thiêng Liêng Community Tourism Destination, the launching of the Moon of the World Zone Tour program of the Cu Chi Tunnel's historical site, previously implemented products such as the program to visit the National Architectural and Artistic Relic of the headquarters of the People's Council and People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City have welcomed more than 13,700 domestic and international visitors. Vietnam's tourism sector is eyeing the goal of sustainable tourism development, and a solution to this is developing environmentally friendly tourism associated with the responsibility to protect nature and wildlife. The 160-year-old Saigon Zoo and Botanical Garden is an attractive destination for residents and tourists in Ho Chi Minh City. It is currently home to more than 2,000 animals of 135 species, including such rare ones listed in the Vietnam Red Book as pheasants, duck, yellow-cheeked gibbons, clouded leopards, Indo-Chinese tigers, and Asian elephants. There are many difficulties such as cage sizes and requirements for different species of animals, or the number of animals exceeding the conditions at the zoo. By caring for and protecting rare animals, zoos, tourist attractions, conservation areas, national parks, biosphere reserves can both exploit tourism and conserve animals. Most of such behaviors as exploiting animals to perform circus acts for fun have now ended at tourist attractions in Vietnam. Just by creating a small change in each individual or each organization, we have contributed a lot to protecting natural resources and serving sustainable development. Tourism is associated with experiencing nature and exploring the ever-growing animal world. But along with that comes the need to be responsible for the environment and protect wildlife by ending animal abuse, building civilized and friendly tourism for sustainable development. This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.